Hola. Okay, in this tutorial we're going to find out ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? What time is it? You can go up to somebody in the street, ¿Qué hora es? It sounds a bit rude. What time is it? You can ask them maybe, do you have the time? ¿Tienes la hora? ¿Tienes la hora? Do you have the time? Do you know what time it is? Also, that's a bit informal, so if it's a stranger in the street, you'd probably be best off using the usted form, so it would just be the same but without the S, tiene. So asking a friend, ¿tienes la hora? Or somebody you don't know, or somebody you want to show some respect to, tiene la hora. So if you, let's just say it's 1 o'clock. In that case, we'd say es la una. But if it's 2 o'clock, we'd say son las dos. So we only say it is, it's only singular when it's 1 o'clock. Es, it is, the one. But when it's 2 o'clock, it becomes plural, son las dos. So it's feminine, la una and las dos, because it's the word hora or horas, hour. Okay, so most of the time it's not going to have the number 1 in it, so it's going to be las. So what we'll do is we'll look at how you tell the time going around the clock from 2 o'clock all the way to 3 o'clock. Okay, so first of all, just put son las dos. Okay, so all of them is going to be son las, they're going to start the same way. So I can put kind of that all the way down. Son las dos, so you basically say it's 2 o'clock and son las dos. Okay, here it's 2 o'clock and 5, so son las dos y cinco. So carrying on with that, this will be son las dos y diez. This is son las dos y diez. When you get to 2:15 or 2:15, you can do like we do. You can say either 2:15 or 2:15. So if it was 2:15, it'd be son las dos y quince, meaning 15. But the kind of the better way, I think, the more traditional way is to say son las dos y cuarto. Cuarto meaning quarter. Then we go back to 2 o'clock and 20, son las dos y veinte. And then 2:25, son las dos y veinticinco. And then for this, you could also say it's 2 o'clock and 30, but you can also do the half past. So son las dos y media. Okay, so son las dos y cinco, son las dos y diez, son las dos y cuarto, son las dos y veinte, son las dos y veinticinco, son las dos y media. Okay, so we got to the half hour point. What happens when we go past that? So if we just change this. So now it's 2:35. I'll just put in the times. So this would be the next hour is 3 o'clock. So what we can do is we can start with that. We can say son las tres. So this would be one way of saying 2:35. It'd be nice if it was actually, if I got the time exactly right as the clock was chiming. Son las tres. So what we do now is we can either say it's 2:35, or we can say it's 3. It's 25 to the next hour, which is 3. So in Spanish, the way they do that is you can say that. You can say son las. You can just carry on adding to the 2. Son las dos y treinta y cinco. But I think the better way to do it is to say it's 25 to 3. So we'll say son las 3 and then menos menos 25. So that's basically, it's 3 o'clock less 25, or it's 3 o'clock minus 25. So carrying on like that, son las 3 menos, so it's 20 to 3, son las 3 menos 20. And then this one you could say it's 3 o'clock less 15, or a better one would say it'd be quarter to. So son las 3 menos cuarto. Son las 3 menos cuarto. And then 10 to 3, son las 3 menos 10. Son las 3 menos 5. And now son las 3. Okay, so if you want to say it's dead on 3, you could say son las 3 en punto. Okay, so what we're going to do now is put up some numbers on, some times on the board, and then you say them, and then we'll check. So ¿qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Son las 11:05. ¿Qué hora es? Okay, so it's 5 to 12. Son las 12 menos 5. So it's 12 minus 5. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 8:20. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 7:30. Son las 7:30. You could also say son las 7:30, but I think it's better to say y media. ¿Qué hora es? Son las 5:15. Son las 5:15. Equally, you could also say son las 5:15. Son las 5:15. So 5:15 or 5:15. Okay, and then this one is 8:45. So it's son las 9 menos cuarto. Or you could say 8:45, son las 8:45. Another thing I want to look at is when you're saying it's around, about, approximately the time, it's about 10 o'clock. So if we say, what time is it? You look at your watch, it's about 10. You could say, or you say, what time should we meet? You could say something like, it's more, rather than saying what time it is, if you look at your watch, you know the time. But if somebody says, what time do you have breakfast? You could say roughly, around. So you could say sobre las 7. So if you want to say exactly what time it is, so if you say what time it is, you say son las 7. It is 7 o'clock. But if you want to say what time you do something at, so you can say something like me levanto, I get up, me levanto a las 7. So it's the difference between it is 7 and at 7. So whenever it's at a time, it's going to be a la, if it's una, or a las for all the other times bigger than 1 o'clock, a las dos, a las tres, all the way through. So if you want to say something like, I get up at 7 o'clock, me levanto a las siete, but let's look at saying if you want to get up, you get up around about 7. Me levanto sobre las siete. So we don't say a, we say sobre las siete. Or we can also say a eso de. I suppose it's just to avoid repetition, you know, it's good to vary it a bit. So me levanto sobre las siete, or if I say something else, I could say desayuno, I have breakfast. No, sorry, there's, start again. Desayuno, so let's say I have breakfast at about 8. So desayuno, I could say sobre las 8 or a eso de las 8. I don't think I've ever said a eso de. I usually use sobre las 8. Another way of saying it would be desayuno a las 8 and then more or less más o menos. So I have breakfast at 8 o'clock more or less. So when you're using the more or less, it has the same kind of, you know, it means the same as a roundabout, but it comes after the time. You don't say desayuno más o menos a las 8, desayuno and the time, and then más o menos at the end. What we're going to do now is look at not only saying the time, because if you say 6 o'clock, that could be 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. So we're going to look at how to say that in Spanish. So if you think of maybe 7 o'clock, could be like that, or it could also be like 1900 hours. So it could be 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. So the way that you say what time it is, if you want to say if it's 7 in the morning or 7 in the evening, it depends on the word. So the word for morning is la mañana. The word for afternoon is la tarde. But also la tarde means afternoon, also means evening. And then the word for night, the night is la noche. There's also another word, so if you say something like 6 or 7 in the morning, there's also a word for kind of early morning, which is perhaps, you know, after midnight, but, you know, maybe up to sort of 3 or 4 o'clock. So that would be la madrugada. Because I think in English we tend to say something like 3 in the morning, but in Spanish they probably tend to use the morning that starts a bit later, and the early hours would be la madrugada. So if you want to say in the morning, any of these, you just combine it with the word of. So of the early morning day, la madrugada, de la mañana, de la tarde, de la noche. Okay, so we could say, just have a practice of pronunciation. So de la madrugada, de la mañana, de la tarde, de la noche. So what we're going to do now is put up some times. I'll keep it simple. I'll have it dead on the hour, because the main focus is not so much the time, but saying what time of day it is. So I'll write those again, but I need, so I just put de la madrugada, de la mañana, de la tarde, de la noche. Okay, so I'm going to write the time in sort of 24-hour clock. So if I'm writing 7 a.m., I'll write it like this, and if I'm writing 7 p.m., it'll be that. Well, what I'll probably do is just keep it simple, just write it AM, PM. So we put 9 AM. What time is that? You'd say son las 9 de la mañana. Son las 9 de la mañana. Okay, and then this time, so 1 in the afternoon would be, so it's 1 o'clock, es la una of the afternoon, de la tarde. Okay, and then let's think of another one. Okay, so 11 p.m. Es las, son. Son las 11 de la noche. Son las 11 de la noche. If it's somebody says, what time did you get in last night? Or this morning, you say 2 o'clock in the morning. You could say, I got at 2 o'clock, so a las 2 de la madrugada. Okay, there's a nice expression in Spanish. So, la madrugada, the early morning. Somebody that gets up early in the morning, the verb is madrugar. So it's madrugar. So he or she gets up early will be madruga. And you can say a quien madruga, Dios le ayuda. A quien madruga, Dios le ayuda. So to whom, so I should put those, to the person who gets up early, God helps, which is equivalent in English to the early bird catches the worm. So it's one of those things which is kind of, I like these little sort of proverbs or sayings in Spanish, you know, and it's nice when you can use them. Okay, so if somebody sees you and it's 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, you can say to them, "Quien madruga, Dios le ayuda." Okay, so another thing to look at is when you say 12, it could be 12 midday or midnight. So midday is mediodía and midnight, medianoche. So día is masculine, it's el día, and noche is feminine, la noche. So the word for half, mid, is medio masculine, or media, because noche is feminine. So mediodía, medianoche. Muy bien, so that's telling the time in Spanish. Okay, so hasta la próxima.